where judgment was written, given to Supreme Court judges to read. Is that democracy anymore? That's no longer democracy. Before a Supreme Court ceases to read, the judgment is out. When they read exactly the same thing. When they bring out certified true copy, it's exactly the same. Nigerians should rise up to take over their country. No, Nigeria, as we speak, is already a banana republic. So the international community, they know.
Nigeria has fully become a banana republic under Pablo Escobar government. This was revealed by PDP chairman in Rivers State. He went further to say that because Nigeria, the Western power, are aware that we have become a banana republic and we are a sovereign nation, they can't really do much for us. And a proper solution that we Nigeria must do to make sure we break the chains off our neck. Did you know that this man went further to reveal that under Pablo Escobar, what's currently going on now, their government will write a judgment. After writing the judgment, they will give it to judge, Supreme Court judges to announce. So this is the decadence, this is the level, our judiciary, our institution has gone to, has been bastardized under these mafias we have in power. Don't forget, your current CJN was once banned, denied visa to US. Don't forget that. Don't forget this woman was the one who sat in the panel that made the fourth person in an election to become a governor. Don't forget that. The revelation, the deep revelation that this man revealed in this video is worth hearing. Please, every Nigerian has got to hear this. They will not hear if you don't like, if you don't share. Please, we have to start this awakening now. Kindly watch the video today and please share. There are a lot of revelations. There are also some few videos in between you're going to be watching. Thanks.
To Bayelsa, they will cause confusion here and they will declare a state of emergency outside the laid down rules and regulation. Because one, they have destroyed the judiciary. Even if you go to the court today, you can't get judgment. Two, you go to the National Assembly, it is destroyed. The National Assembly is gone. So, the only thing that is keeping us is the air we are breathing as citizens. If it is the government, if it is the law, the rule of law is gone. The legislator, they are not speaking for the people. The executive, they are not working for the people. They work for themselves. All they are interested is power. They are not interested in security and welfare of the people. Few days ago, soldiers were killed in Borno. Several local governments in Borno are being controlled by Boko Haram as we speak. The same thing is happening in the northwest, Zamfara, Katsina, and even Sokoto. These are the areas that require a declaration of a state of emergency. What is happening in Benue too by the herdsmen also requires a declaration of a state of emergency. But they didn't. But they came to Rivers State because they believe that economically Rivers State is very, very viable. They must take Rivers State by all means. And they know that Bayelsa is a stronghold of the People's Democratic Party. Therefore, they have to destroy Bayelsa too. By the time they finish with Bayelsa, they will go to Akwa Ibom, go to Delta State. That's the strategy before 2027. That is the pattern of this government now. Tinubu himself came out to protest against the government of President Jonathan. President Jonathan then did not deploy the army or police to arrest him or those that protested with him. But today, any protest, they deploy the army, deploy police, deploy everything. What they are doing today is even worse than the military era. And this is a man that said he's a member of NADECO, that he fought the military to bring democracy. And today is lucky to be president. Have you heard him talk about the things NADECO stood for? Not even one. What are the principles, the vision, the mission of NADECO, which he stood for? He has not done any one. The man is on a mission to enrich himself and enrich his family. It's not on a mission to deliver dividends of democracy to Nigerians. He has destroyed the rule of law. He has destroyed the judiciary. He has also destroyed the legislature. What is remaining But I'm sure one day the people of Nigeria will take over their country. It will not last forever. It won't be forever. To the South people, there is imminent danger. There is imminent danger of destruction of our economy. You know, when our economy is destroyed here, Lagos booms. The oil services company, all the oil majors, have their offices, headquarters in Lagos. So by further destroying the South, Lagos economy will keep booming. So our people, the South people, should understand this and rise up to this occasion. To Nigerians, they should realize that the All Progressive Congress is not just destroying democracy, they have actually destroyed democracy. When you find a situation where judgment was written, given to Supreme Court judges to read, is that democracy anymore? That's no longer democracy. Before a Supreme Court ceases to read, the judgment is out. When they read exactly the same thing. When they bring out certified true copy, it's exactly the same. Nigerians should rise up to take over their country. No, Nigeria, as we speak, is already a banana republic. So the international community, they know. Our foreign policy, which foreign policy are they pursuing? They are not protecting democracy. So the international community, they are already aware. But because Nigeria is a sovereign nation, there is no way the United States, EU, Russia, not even China, can intervene in our internal affair. Our destiny is in our hands. The day we rise up to take over our nation is the day we take over our nation. They won't come.
Meanwhile, a 2023 video showing a former governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Raji Fashola, narrating how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu fought to restore a former governor of Oyo State, Rashidi Ladoja, who was impeached by Oyo State legislators and forced out of office in January 2006, has surfaced online. Well, Fashola described Tinubu as a champion of oppressed people who made moves to ensure that a sitting governor was not left impeached. Let's take a look.
When Governor Ladoja was removed as governor in Ibadan by an apparently illegal impeachment process, it was to Lagos that he came, and I know, and I will say no more about that part. He said, just bring your constitution, bring your law books, I need you to research something for me. When I got there, what he said to me was, are we just going to fold our hands and let a governor in Nigeria be impeached and nothing will happen? And I said, but he's in opposition, it doesn't matter. What can we do? Call your colleagues. And it was in his house, in that body law, that a group of us lawyers sat down, prepared the court documents, and it was that case that went all the way to the Supreme Court. And Ladoja was returned back to office before he finally lost in the re-election. That wasn't his cause. That was an opposition governor. But that is the man, the champion of oppressed people.
Tinubu, champion of oppressed people. That's how former Governor Fashola described it. And you know, Dr. Bass, if you recall, I believe Ladoja had given an interview back in 2019 saying that Obasanjo, because he had told Obasanjo that he wasn't qualified to run for a third term, and that's why he was impeached. Go ahead.
Okay, certain things we're dealing with. The irony surrounding President Tinubu's, declaration of emergency. Yes, President Tinubu, as pointed out by a former governor, former minister, was a champion of democracy. He was part of the June 12 struggle. He even helped to fund the June 12 struggle. He may also have intervened, as the governor pointed out, the former minister pointed out, in the case in Oyo State, which was eventually decided in favor of Ladoja. Now, the irony that people are pointing out is that the same man who was a champion of democracy, who in fact in 2013, when President Jonathan followed the Constitution and did not, import into the Constitution what is not there, is the same man today who condemned him that time that is even doing something that is worse. This is the issue. So BRF, former governor, former minister Babatunde Raji Fashola is right to say, yes, this man was a champion of democracy. But if you look at the timing of that interview, that worse. And the Nigerians are saying, well, President Tinubu has disappointed us by taking this line of action.
Right.
As to the intervention by President Jonathan and Professor Wole Soyinka, it's as follows. I think that, President Jonathan has taken a very courageous stand in this matter. And it is most unusual, because ordinarily you will not criticize a sitting president.
And he said that.
But he has chosen to do it because he considers it, something of moment, something very serious. And he talks about abuse of power, abuse of privileges across the line, and that the judiciary has been compromised. That can only come from a man who is speaking as a statesman and saying, look, let's apply caution. And he didn't directly mention President Tinubu's name, but anybody who is intelligent enough, will see that he was making a very valid point. And what we expect is that President Tinubu will listen to these voices of reason and see reason, to reverse himself on the question of Rivers State. Even if he's still going to uphold the state of emergency, he can return the democratic structures that were there before and then still have that state of emergency as Section 305 allows him to do. As Alpha Mosigwe pointed out, there's no part of the Constitution that gives you absolute privileges or powers. And the thing is that even under Section 305, the president does not have absolute rights to declare a state of emergency. That's why the matter had to go to the National Assembly, the same National Assembly that has shown itself to be a rubber stamp assembly.
All right.
Finally, I end with the comment by Professor Wole Soyinka. Professor Wole Soyinka is over 90. I see some nitwits, some dimwits, saying, oh, Professor Soyinka should speak. Professor Soyinka has not spoken. Now, Professor Soyinka at over 90 has spoken. And he has said, look, this is a violation of the federalism principle. This also is an abuse of power. That's simply what it means when it says the action of the president was excessive, and that the president does not have any absolute right to shut down democratic governance in any part of the country. I hope the young people who have been criticizing Professor Soyinka will know that he has spoken up and that they too, as citizens, have a right to speak up. And that we should not leave it to, people who are nearing 100 years of age, while young people are just, dropping the ball. And that's why I think the young persons in the PDP, the PC PDP, professionals, concerned professionals in the PDP, they have acted right also in condemning this.
All right. Well, let's take more reactions. I read a back page column of Simon Kolawole on This Day newspapers yesterday, and I'll read an excerpt of it. He titled it, "Ladies and Gentlemen, It's All Politics." Are we really surprised at Tinubu's action? He's a godfather himself and has quenched every rebellion in Lagos, including the recent attempt to remove the speaker without his excess approval. Wike is not only his minister, but also played a key role in weakening his own party, the PDP, in the 2023 presidential election to help Tinubu. Wike is also holding down the party ahead of 2027. So there are no prizes for guessing why Tinubu is in his corner. As Olusegun Adeniyi, the frontline columnist, wrote, Fubara and his advisors failed to reckon with federal might in picking his fight. In the words of Bolaji Abdullahi, the former youth and sports minister, Nigeria will always defeat you. And I wanted to just pull up this picture of the day, that has been trending. And it's a picture here with the caption, shutting down democracy, one state at a time. And we see President Tinubu there. I think this is posted by Asukwo.
Is the cartoonist of Business Day. Yeah.
I mean, quite apt, really, quite apt. That's the picture of the day.
I'll go back to that. Dr. Bati has talked about the legalese. Fubara has a right to sue, violation of his fundamental human right. But you see, this champion of democracy narrative, yes, he fought in June 12 and all of that. But I have a different opinion as regards what former Governor of Lagos, Fashola, was saying. The reason why the likes of Governor Bola Tinubu fought the impeachment of Senator Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja was not because he wanted to champion democracy. It was because Obasanjo was involved and he was fighting Obasanjo. Let's not forget. Because Senator Rashidi Adewolu Ladoja was part of those that benefited from the Obasanjo run of the Southwest that pulled out most of the governors of the AD then, like Lamidi Adesina. So he had just benefited. So it was not because he loved democracy so much that he was fighting for a PDP governor.
Okay.
It was because he was the last man standing from that raid, and he also needed to consolidate and assert. So the enemy of my enemy was my friend. So that was the reason why he fought and all those battles. There was also a technical position into it. Secondly, both parties, both Wike and Fubara, threatened violence in this. And that's why I keep asking one question people have not been able to answer. What was the imminent threat of danger? Was it the fact that Mr. Fubara had written letters? I'm happy they played that video. In that video, Governor Wike also threatened the Ijaw people. What was the imminent threat of danger? Because Mr. Fubara had written a letter after that Supreme Court judgment, and he was the one calling for peace. The only part I faulted him for was when one of his stumps where he said, oh, I'll tell the boys what to do.
At the right time.
At the right time. Which, a day after, he even called for peace when they were giving platforms to the Air Force or something. Helicopter platforms or thereabouts. So, when you look at it critically, what was the imminent threat of danger? Was it the fact that Fubara started listening to the courts, dismantled the local government structure, said they should go for new elections, taking his papers in the National Assembly, the State House of Assembly, even going there to say, okay, where can I represent my project? Was that the imminent threat of danger?
All right. Well,
because all of a sudden, those that also claim that, since this administration have come in, have emerged, this sole administrator, things have stabilized. And that's why we talked about also the Soku incident yesterday. In all of this, I would also like to disagree with Mr. Samuel Kolawole. And I'll tell you why in that article. And the fight about, when you are fighting federal might and all of that. No. And when he was talking, I don't know that particular line where he said, when you are fighting, no, it's on the second line. It's on the second slide. Yeah, so where he was talking about, as he wrote, Fubara University failed to reckon with federal might in picking his fight. No, because one of the reasons why we, and also me myself, openly came out to praise President Tinubu then, because we know him to be the man that fought federal mights.
All right.
All these things Chief Olusegun Obasanjo planned with federal might then in the Southwest. He was the only one that outmaneuvered Olusegun Obasanjo.
Right.
That's what we know. So we've had
it's called the last man
the
standing.
last man standing, the lion of Bodilo, Jagaban Baba.
All right.
So and that's why we praised him to the high heavens there. But it is sad that all the things he fought against, he has now negated today, and that's why we are also calling him out.
Fubara stand up as a man.
All right.
Stand up as a man.
Well, Rufai, let me answer some questions that you asked, and this is some questions that we have
How
had
is it,
conversations
by the way?
about.
Just keep
Fubara,
whining like a child.
who Fubara? How old is
Yeah, let
Fubara?
him stand up as a man.
You're asking about the imminent threat of danger. Some people might argue that it is because there was a threat to federal installation, which is, the gas pipelines, which, imperils on the Nigerian economy, which is fueled by oil and gas. So that's one of the arguments, thereof.